Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel, and first of all, welcome back Dave.
Thank you very much, how are you doing?
Very good, yourself?
I'm alright. Leeds are having a dodgy time, but...
Yep, Leeds lost, finally. Although they have lost before.
We lost to Liverpool first game of the season, but we were...
It's on a trend now,
Don't set me off again.
They're on a downward spiral. So, we're back out here on the course today. You'll have seen that throughout the last couple of weeks we've been talking about winter golf, and we've been doing half a set of golf clubs with Dave and been mixing in some awkward lies. So last week was on the course, the week before the awkward lies we looked at were on the short game area, and we looked at a chip shot over the bunker.
Yep.
We looked at one out of the thick rough, and then we also looked at like a tight lie that's wet and spongy underneath the foot. So we talked about different options. Dave was right on a couple of the club selections. A couple of times we saw that we had different options on how to play it.
A couple of times I did a bit of a Robinson.
And went straight for loft. So today what we want to look at is bunkers. So when it comes to the winter, we start to get wet bunkers. We get some that are fluffy but still wet underneath, and people ask me, how do I play those shots? What do I adjust? Do I need to change clubs? Do I not? Obviously we're out here doing Dave's half a set of clubs, so we are using, and luckily he has his sand wedge with him, so he's 56 degree, and we're in here, and the first lie we're going to look at is the bare lie with not much sand underneath. And this is one we find common, not just in the winter but in the summer, with courses where you don't necessarily have a lot of sand in your bunkers for any particular reason. And a lot of videos you watch constantly tell you, make sure you're using the bounce, open the club face, open your stance and start to swing across it and use a lot of speed. So when it comes to having not a lot of sand and a bare lie, we want to go away from that. We want to be closing the club face, using the leading edge and getting down into the ball, taking a little divot but focusing on getting the ball and using the loft that's on the club. If we open the club face, if we're slightly out with our low point, the club's going to hit the ground, bounce, as the bounce is there to do, hit the middle of the ball. It either sends it bulleting into the lip of the face, or it sends it straight over the green and kills one of our native seagulls that seem to be out on the green. So we want to avoid that. So Dave's a confident mid-handicap bunker player. He's very happy.
The rest of it's not confident, but
we saw that on his bunker video, which I'll tag above. He was confident in playing different shots, but he didn't always change lofts. So here, we know when we spoke about those videos we had the club face slightly open. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take Dave's normal setup, so we're going to work on being square to the target instead of open, having a square face and then hitting this shot. So this shot's around about a 20 yarder, so Dave's going to be able to use his 56, have plenty of loft on there.
I'm still taking a bit of sand before the ball, or?
Yeah, so we're still taking a little bit of sand before the ball, like Dave just mentioned there. We're not trying to catch the ball clean. We're still looking at probably a centimetre, half a centimetre in front of the ball. So we're going to be hitting down and using a loft to get that out of the bunker. So we need to make sure we keep our speed, have the correct club face, and we're going to let Dave take it away. So Dave's going to come in and play this now. So we've gone down the line, so Dave's going to take his normal setup and we're going to see how he's parallel to the target. So he's not opening his stance, he's not closing it, and we're able then to make a normal swing.
I'm off home, that's it, me done.
I was about to say the pressure's on Dave because we haven't hit a shot, but very good shot. So I'll bring the camera in shortly. We can see it's a nice short divot for Dave, so even though he's had a square face, he's not dug in because there's not much sand. Nice compact divot, ball popped up nicely, and that's gone to, I would say, probably 5 or 6 feet, which as we know is well inside tour average. So for Dave, very confident out of bunkers, but normally you would have opened the club face, wouldn't
I would,
you?
yeah. Normally I would have opened the club face and tried to hit it harder because the sand's heavier and wet.
Yeah, so like Dave said there, normally he'd open that because he's thinking, oh, it's wet, it might be heavier even though there's not much sand. He said he might have potentially opened his stance slightly, which is then cutting across, and the biggest thing he said to me there was hit it harder. As we know, if we start to hit the ball harder, there's a lot more that can go wrong. If we can keep it compact, let the club do the work, we can see the good result. So we can see a nice compact divot there, and we can also see Dave's in there nice and close. Okay, so this is the next lie we're going to be looking at. So Dave's in here now, we'll roll it for him, it was a bit close. We're at that mid-range bunker shot, so we've got 50 yards to the flag. So it's that one where I see a lot of times, and like Dave did here, he first of all had his sand wedge straight out, head cover off his iron, straight into the bunker with his sand wedge. So as we know, it's not always the sand wedge, and that's what I see from a lot of amateurs, because as soon as you go into the sand we have to use sand wedge. It's the same when I see them in fairway bunkers a long way back. Right, I've just got to get it out sand wedge because I'm in the sand. Not always the case. For this shot, for example, we're going to be working left of the flag, so we want to aim for the middle of the green because that's the safe play, so that's the percentage play. And we've gone for his pitching wedge, so we know his pitching wedge is going to come out more direct, because what's the biggest problem here? The biggest problem is right in front of us, and it's another bunker, and that's what we want to avoid. Because how many times I see people go from one bunker to the next, it's scandalous, to be honest, because they use a sand wedge, they hit a great shot, too much loft, and go straight into
Lawrence
there.
of Arabia job.
Correct. So Dave's got his pitching wedge. We're going to go with the same setup. We're not going to open this very much at all. We're probably going to have it pretty square, and then from that we know it's going to go more direct and it's going to go less up, so we should hit the middle of the green. Here we're just thinking middle of the green is going to do the job. We're going to have a putt. This is a par 5, and let's get out of there and save any kind of trouble. So I'm going to get both angles here. So Dave, whenever you are ready, my friend. So ball position forwards, square face, and to his finish.
Living the dream.
Dave, mid-handicapper, very confident out of bunkers. So we saw that did exactly what we want. It went over the left edge of the trap, but because of the club, it's gone far enough forward. It's still,
I think it spun back.
It spun back actually. I mean, it's a little bit short of the flag, but we've got a 20-footer for par slash, yeah, no, for birdie, because it's a par 5, of course. Good maths. So tour average, thinking here from 50 yards out of a bunker, we're going to be looking at between 12 and 15 feet. So Dave off 14,
Yeah.
20 feet is a very good job, and that's all you're expecting. Hit the green and let's try and get out of there with 2 putts, but give ourselves an outside chance.
Even Stephen and his mates here.
Even Steve, the seagull, he's chuffed. They're having a round of applause. They love it. So using the right club out of this shot, it's one of the hardest shots in golf. It's not one that even I'm favourable of. It's not a shot that I like to get. It's one I try and avoid. But
Yeah,
if we're in here, you wouldn't pick it by choice. So make sure you use the right club. Use the loft to get you where you want to be, and like we did there, we took our medicine, went for the middle of the green, and we didn't take the glory shot. Okay Dave, so what's the third and final lie?
It's a plugged lie in wet sand.
Plugged lie. So we can see half of the ball there. So normally Dave, what club would you take?
I'd either take a shovel or a mulligan.
Shovel
But
or a mulligan?
if pushed, I'd probably take a sand wedge.
Okay, perfect. So grab your sandwich. That's the right club, Dave. So let's grab that. Okay, Dave. So obviously, if you got this lie out on the golf course, what's your current process for what you would do?
Well, first of all, I'd be just happy if I got it on the green.
Yeah.
I'd try and open the face because I've got to get a lot of sand out
Yeah.
to get to the ball. And I know that before you've said don't, but I'd try and hit it a bit harder.
So open it up, try and swing across it,
Yeah.
and a bit harder.
Yeah.
So Dave would do the old school way, which was very much what people would do. Old
Trying to
school.
say?
Dave's only a young chap, 25 next week. So Dave would open it up, put a lot of speed in, and what I see then is a lot of times people do take a lot of sand, but then it still lands out in front of them there. So when Dave comes into this shot now, what I want him to do is very similar to the first lie we had on the first green where we had no sand. Although we've got a lot here, we're going to start to close the club face, again take his normal stance, but then we're going to be working the club more up to down. So as you saw in a couple of weeks ago on the thick rough lie,
Yeah.
we wanted to hinge that club up more to get more angle of attack with a lot of loft to pop that ball into the air. Very much the same here. Instead of opening the club and being shallower and taking a lot of sand, we're going to try and go up to down. So it'll be a very short finish, It's not a stab motion, you are releasing the club head down into the ball, which will pop that up. And we've got a lot of green here, so we'll hopefully get it to run out. Famous last words, it could send it all the way over the green.
I admire your confidence.
Although, we've hit 2 good ones so far. So, close club face, more up to down. And here, we're just trying to get the ball on the green. So if the flag was close to us, we'd still do the same, but maybe with more loft, which potentially could be a 60, but we've not done that one on purpose.
I couldn't anyway, because I've only got half a set.
And he's only got half a set, so the dream's alive. So 56.
Centre of stance forward, or?
Slightly forward still, so just like on the thick rough,
yeah.
Keep it forwards, put the loft down onto the ball, and hopefully we're close. Slash on the green. There, a bit blurry. There we go. So out. So 20 feet, Dave, pretty good.
Yeah, I'd take that.
You'd take that?
Yeah.
And like I say, as a mid-handicapper, we're just trying to keep that onto the green. We can see Dave dug down. The only criticism I would have, is Dave was stood pointing there. So he just aimed where the ball went.
I was pointing towards I was too far open then.
So too far open, he just aimed and he was square to exactly where he aimed,
yeah,
as opposed to, and we can see with your footprints. So again, use your footprints, use your divot to give yourself some feedback. So although that's on the green and we're taking the positives, because that is a good shot and that's all we want as a mid-handicapper, 20 feet is very good. We could take a little bit of feedback. If we was being very critical of Dave and we're wanting to get to single figures, he'd just need to take a bit more time on his aim there.
Yeah.
So those have been the 3 different bunker lies that we struggle with the most. And I know Dave mentioned them to me and we had a lot of comments about different bunker shots. Again, when we get to the summer, we'll go through a lot more bunker shots that you might have. Longer ones, fluffier sand, dry sand, too much sand, too little sand. We seem to get a full array of different bunker shots. So first of all, close face. When we've got a bare lie, we want to close that face. Square stance or parallel stance to our target. Use the loft. We're still looking to hit behind the ball, but we're going with a square face because we don't want any bounce that encourages to thin that ball and send it like a bullet. Second one, the awkward 40-50 yard bunker shot from quite a bit of sand, but we got to carry another bunker, and there the main thing we looked at again was a square face, which most people think you have to open because that's what you've been told for years, but the main thing was the golf club. So we changed the club. We went from his trusty sand wedge, which everybody does, we went to pitching wedge. Great shot.
And don't try and be a hero, don't go for the pin if you've got another bunker to go across, just go middle of green and you're happy, aren't you?
Exactly, so like Dave said there, don't be the hero, don't go at the flag, play for the middle of the green, give yourself an outside chance at a birdie, but you're walking away with a par or with a bogey at worst, and again, you've took your medicine, you've got out of there and saved a double. We've avoided the bunker in front because we've chose the right club. Final one. Unfortunately this time of year and any time of year, because if you've got bunkers with a lot of sand in, you will still get the lies where we're plugged, semi-plugged, and a lot of times I see people open the stance, open the club face, swing at 1,000 miles an hour and either leave it just in front of them or send it at the pylon and send it 100 yards away. So close the club face, just like the thick rough lie. We're going to go more up to down. Use the loft on there. It's not a stab shot, it's releasing the loft onto the back of the ball. We know it's going to run out, so if you've got a short-sided pin, we'd go for the dreaded 60, which as everybody knows I'm not a fan of, but there is a time and a place and that is one of them. But when it's at the other side of the green, Dave's sand wedge did the job perfectly.
Generally, from a lie like that, 14 handicap is going to be happy with the middle of the green.
Correct. An expectation, guys, anywhere on the green, tour average is between probably 15 and 20 feet there. And I'd say Dave is probably 20 feet, so he's right on the edge. The dream's alive. Maybe we'll get to single figures. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Next week, look out for the final part of our on-course half a set challenge, and we'll see what Dave scored, talk through what he enjoyed, and then from there, guys, we shall see you the following week.
See you soon.